Hello, and welcome to another update video on Ethereum. I'm here on the shorter time frame for ETH, and the market dipped a little bit lower. It's entirely possible that we have already started this fifth wave to the downside. I mean, technically, we already have 5 waves down. I'm talking about, well, first of all, if we consider the move to the upside here, that it topped in a B wave on the 10th of November, this was a wave 1 down and a wave 2 up. We could now be in a third wave to the downside, then get a wave 4 bounce and another fifth wave to the downside. That gives us a 5-wave decline, a 5-wave decline like this, to complete the C wave of a third wave. As I said, over the last few days, I do not assume that a meaningful low has formed. But what is a meaningful low? That requires some explanation. So with meaningful low, I'm talking about something that takes us for weeks higher, will also lead to a breakout above the price channel. I don't see that at this point. What I can definitely see as a potential is still the orange count. And what's the difference? The difference is simply that in the yellow count, a B wave topped here. In the orange count, this B wave is still unfolding. So actually, I need to change the wave degree here a bit, but this is the B wave here in orange, which could still play out. Question is, has it already topped, or are we still in the B wave? I wouldn't call that a meaningful low. That's a local low if we move to the top of the trend channel and maybe even get rejected there for the price to grind down lower. Again, this is nothing. It would simply delay the next move to the downside. So in the very short term, I think we now need to bring onto the chart resistance for this fourth wave. I'm not sure if it's really in any way different than what we have already. We can just slightly adjust our resistance area based on the last low. And this is resistance for this fourth wave. I think the internal fifth here of the third wave can still extend a little lower. But then at some point, we'll probably get a bounce here. And then we can still go lower afterwards. So I think if we track this decline, we need to understand the context. And based on it, we have an A, B, C. So this C wave should normally reach the 100% extension of the A wave down. I'm talking about the smaller time frame here, yeah? And this is the A wave, B wave up. In our member live stream, we covered the weekly chart today as well. So in case you're wondering, check it out. This is it was a very thorough larger time frame scenario that we covered there. But this here gives you everything that's going to be relevant over the next, you could say, 2 to 3, 4 sessions, over the next 48 hours. So 2,618, I mean, that is exactly where circle wave 3 of wave C, wave C of circle wave 3 is already positioned. So therefore, I think it might make sense to at least to expect a little further downside. A few more downside squiggles are possible in this third. Then we could get a bounce in 4 and a fifth wave down. At least that's what I'm tracking. And again, it could take us to the $2,618 level. This is, by the way, roughly where, if I go to the daily chart, where the next Fibonacci retracement is located. Pretty much exactly there, actually, at $2,626. So there's some support there, You see how relevant here the 3,055 level is, which represents the 38.2 retracement. Lower could take us to the next Fib level. And I would expect some support there as well. Now, the thing is, the daily chart is nearly oversold, okay? It's not yet oversold. It was oversold on the 4th of November. At the moment, you can even see there is a slight bullish divergence on the chart. We have a slight higher low on the RSI and a lower low on the price chart. But the thing is, this divergence could get easily invalidated if the price drops further. I don't see any meaningful recovery on the RSI. What I'm watching for here on the daily RSI is as well the upper boundary line there with the yellow circle. As before, if we can get a break above this trend line, that could actually be a meaningful trend change signal. together obviously with a break above the upper boundary line of our trend channel. So these are two key resistances to watch, just you could say structural and dynamic resistance. So I think it also makes sense to consider the MACD, MACD. Let me open that as well. That is an additional indicator that is worth watching, because it helps us to understand when the, let's say, the momentum is starting to turn back to the upside. And I'm here on the daily time frame, and you can see that there is still momentum that's increasing to the downside. There is no sign that the downside momentum is weakening. I also don't really see any, I mean, you could also say there's a slight bullish divergence here based on the histogram, but it's not a strong one. And so the momentum is still down. But if we talk about MACD, MACD, you see, if we just go back on the daily, yeah, all the way here to 2021, you see how oversold it is. A MACD doesn't really have oversold and overbought regions. It's more based, not like the RSI, but it's more based on historical readings. Now, I would argue that historically there has been a lot of support in the area around minus 200, which is where we're now. Yeah, you see there was support here in March this year. There was support in August 24. These were all significant swing low areas. In June 22, May 22, January 22, these were all significant swing low areas, all in this area. And also here in June 21. I mean, this is important, yeah. We've got the RSI, that's fine. But also when we talk about, when we talk about the price chart, the MACD, it's important to understand where, based on historical data, the MACD would be oversold. It is now. It hasn't been below the current value very, very often, only really a handful of times. So super interesting environment. I know everybody's bearish. I'm not overall bearish yet. My analysis might sound bearish, but that's only because in the short term, there is no sign of a trend change, and the wave count still allows lower prices. We have a resistance area. We need a break above resistance locally here for an early indication that a trend reversal to the upside is unfolding, at least locally. But it takes a proper 5-wave move up and a 3-wave move down to signal that something different is playing out. For now, pressure appears downward. I'm not overall bearish yet. I'd say short to medium term, yes. And then, but the market is very oversold, so I think a relief bounce could happen soon. That might be either the orange B wave, or after a little bit more downside, this 4th wave. I'll keep you updated. Any changes, I will of course let you know. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in additional updates, I recommend that you also follow us on X for additional charts, updates, news, and much more. You can find additional video updates here as well, short-term updates, and much more. It's a very active community there as well. I'll leave a link in the comment section. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.